this was an experiment that you offered me to try, and it really worked.
Your face will be a source of that feeling.
And that, I think, also made him see me as a special person who doesn't
will never forget you. And this is very powerful, because then you're actually creating this addiction in that person to the feeling of evolution and growth.
Both can be either
they
become
get scared.
frightened, that she's weird, or they, which also happens, or
they become more interested in you. They see you as something unique, and now they're confused. You are out of the norm. You are not normal anymore. You're very special.
Hi everyone, this is me, Lily Boiko, and
Mira, Uniat.
And it's our podcast, Eternally Fantastic. Please subscribe to us on our social networks that are Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Telegram, and see our materials there as well. And today we are continuing talking about relationships, tips and tricks. And today's topic is very intriguing, and I think is good both for those who are still searching for their another half or another whole, and those who are already having a relationship, and that is how to make your man addicted to you. So today, Mira will share this experience, which we actually already kind of tried, and it really works. Yeah. So, what we would begin from?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question, and it all comes down to you knowing the mechanics of your brain and the mechanics of the process of addiction, and how it happens that we get addicted to certain substances, to certain activities, and to certain people as well. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to creating that wiring in your brain that creates correlation between an object or experience in external world with your state of being, which is pleasant, right? So let's start from this. I would like you to give an example. Are you addicted to anything right now? Do you have any addictions right now?
Well, if talking about substances, I don't have bad habits, though I really like chocolates, for example. Is it a good example?
Sure. Yeah, it's a good example. I love sweets too. But I'm conscious of my addictions. That's the thing. I can, if I choose to remove it, for me, like the way I work with my mind and how I can, melt that addiction away. Right now, it's easy. So for now, I choose to be addicted to sweets. That's why maybe I'm so sweet.
Maybe.
But when you say that addiction to chocolate. So basically, when you eat chocolate, your receptors are engaged, they receive information, and the taste that you feel is pleasant.
And you want to get more of it.
Yeah. So the taste is pleasant. So basically, the information that is going through the taste receptors on your tongue and your mouth, the mapping happens, okay, it's pleasant. The brain basically photographs everything. It learns the information of everything. The name of the source of this pleasure is chocolate. This is how it looks. This is, where I can find it. And now you have a memory of a taste. You have a memory of pleasure, right? And because your brain correlated this pleasure with the source of it, which is a bar of chocolate, now next day you wake up and you're like, I remember the taste, I remember that feeling, I want to repeat it. So you go to that store again and you buy the chocolate. Right? Same thing happens in relationships. You give a taste of yourself to someone, and if you are pleasure, if you are an embodiment of love, and everybody's looking for love in life, fundamentally, we are all looking for love. And if you are embodying love, unconditional, pure love for life, you are a happy being, you radiate that high frequency. It's a pleasure for people to be in your presence. So now their brain does what? It correlates a feeling of pleasure because that's what you are radiating. And if they are open to receive it, they don't have a wall, right? So they will have a taste of it. So their mouth is open to taste the pleasure, right? And you are the pleasure, right? Because you are in love with your life, you have to share something. You're not there to extract, because if you are there to extract, their nervous system will be feeling it, and they will be not opening their mouths to try even you authentically. They will be protecting themselves from potential threat. So if, for example, you are in a relationship where you are there to share the love for life that you already have within yourself, it will, and the person is receptive and they are open to try and taste it. So basically that feeling of love is now will be mapped on the map of experiences in the brain of that person. Your face will be a source of that feeling. So if they enjoy that feeling in your presence, they will want to repeat it. That's the nature of human minds, that our mind is clinging to pleasant experiences and avoids pain, or creates a defense against pain so that you don't repeat it again.
Mm-hmm. I think in the first several months of dating, most people experience this only pleasurable moments with each other, and that's why they are clinging to each other. But how to keep this pleasure on later stages? Like when you get triggered, you should always express love, right? Not to damage that perception of you as a pleasurable addiction. So
I think
how to always give love?
Beautiful question. I think you have to start from being addicted to you as love. You have to become addicted to your state of being, of love. And then once you figure out that that's the only state that you want to experience, you work towards experiencing it more and more in life. So if your commitment is to experience more love within yourself, then it's a commitment to evolution. So when it gets to the mental layer now, when the couple already figured that there is sexual chemistry, sex is good, they enjoy each other. Now real stuff starts, real life begins, and mental structures get involved, right? And both of the partners start revealing their existing patterns of thinking, patterns of perception, perceiving life and reality, what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. And now it's gonna be deciding, the future of the relationship, whether they both commit to stay the way they are and they maintain that existing, mental structures that they are, and keep, maybe arguing sometimes, maybe not, all those, whatever they are right now, they are embodying right now. If they, choose to stay on that frequency for a long time, for them it will become normal that they're angry at each other. They say it's okay. I personally think it's not okay when partners are fighting, because it's a sign that it's unconscious union where people are not committed to explore themselves and evolve and expand their perception, and they get addicted to the life they don't even like, and they normalize something that's not supposed to be normal. So if both partners are on that wave, it's okay too. It's just usually, they start collecting now a lot of moments of anger, of unpleasantness and arguments, right? And then even sex won't fix it, right? So that's one way the relationship can go. They can last for a few years just because people became addicted to the life they don't even like, but they are scared to change. Because within themselves, the ego or that mental structure just wants to survive in the same way without evolving to a new version of who they can be. The aware and conscious union would be where they both explore the existing patterns, they become aware of their existing patterns, and both of them commit to work on parts of them that they are not embracing fully, right? Because if right now, for example, a person is unaware of their own insecurities or fears, it will come up in relationships as jealousy or control, and that person will start defending and say, oh, you don't understand me, you don't love me. So it will also create this, arguments, right? But if the commitment is to grow through self-awareness and changing your perception, then that person will never blame another being for the way they feel and say, hey, I think I feel insecurity here. I need to look into myself and find out where this is coming from, because my commitment is to always give you love. And this is very powerful, because then you're actually creating this addiction in that person that to the feeling of evolution and growth and expansion. And both of them commit to feel more love in life, which ultimately means to convert whatever is not love right now within themselves, to convert all that into love, right? Because all of us, we come with, it's like almost a portfolio of investments, and the diversity is very unique for every human being, and the percentage of each frequency is unique. Some people come with 50% fear, 50% love, like roughly, I'm just giving examples. And then the only way to live a 100% love frequency is to convert the existing 50% of fear frequency into love through changing the existing narrative in your mind and perception of your life and others. So the addiction, basically, it can be the addiction to emotions and lives that people don't even like, but they are scared to change and jump into the unknown. That's why they are together. And then another side, which I think is more beautiful and more potential, is the addiction to grow together and evolve.
And how to keep yourself from attaching to a partner when you want, like when you see that the partner is not 100% aligned to your requirements or what you want to see in a partner, but sex is great and you've already started feeling that feelings of love or whatever, and then to still keep yourself aware of what you want and communicate it to him in a way that he's not offended, but that he would want to evolve to the same state to meet your criteria.
Right. Well, I think it's a bit of a dangerous statement to say that somebody needs to evolve to your level. Because that's already starting a separation consciousness, that I'm here, you somewhere else, you need to grow to where I am. I think it's completely against what love is about. Love is about accepting him the way he is, and you can only learn to do that when you learn to accept yourself the way you are. So I always tell people, would you date yourself? Do you love 100% of who you are? Or there are parts of you that you would want to change? Like there are thoughts that you don't enjoy, there are narratives in your mind that still need some editing, right? There are patterns in life that you are not really fully enjoying and you're working on. So until you achieve that 100% of acceptance of who you are and loving all parts of you, which is past, present, and future, it's going to be really hard to meet a person whom you will love 100%. How can you see 100% of love in someone if you don't see that, or you don't feel it within yourself. Because that means if you are 70% love, there is still 30 of what you don't enjoy, which is not love, right? And when you are residing in those states of being of, let's say, fear, let's say, and you are at that moment with that person, then you are radiating a frequency of fear, and your frequency of fear is triggering their nervous system to defend, and that's the reason for the argument. So the only way for you to achieve 100% is to convert your frequency of fear into love through changing your narrative and perception. So it might sound boring, but it all comes down to your relationship with yourself. And as much as I don't want to disappoint you, but you will never be able to meet 100% somebody who 100% meets your requirements until you become that 100%, until you embody everything that you have on your checklist. Until you embody all of that, good luck with meeting someone who meets it. You can meet somebody who will help you to grow to your 100 for sure, like somebody who maybe has 80 but you have 70% of love. So that will be an evolutionary process of growth for you, and you will feel a very deep connection with that being, because they basically become a catalyst for your growth. By design, relationships are there to help you evolve and understand what you want and what you don't want, what parts of you enjoy, what parts of you need to work on, the patterns, existing patterns which you need to change, and or which one you want to keep, because physical reality is all based on a pattern and constant repetition of cycles. So if you want to change your reality, then change existing pattern and change it to a new one. So relationships are there because they are helping us to see existing patterns that we don't enjoy. If we really choose to evolve and we choose to become conscious and dive deeper into who we are, then we will see any relationship as an opportunity to grow, not as an opportunity to attach to someone who, because attachment is prison, right? And it means that, oh, we agree on this right now, so it will be like this for the rest of our lives. Let's say, let's agree to have sex once a week. What will happen if a person is going through some changes in their body and they can no longer meet that requirement? Are you capable to be okay with that and still love him or her the way she or he is? So love is not rigid. It's almost like it's a fragrance that you have, and then the structure, the rigidity, that's relationship. So relationship and love are two different things, and attachment comes actually from scarcity and from a sense of fear that at some point there might not be love. So let's create the rules. Let's create the rules how to keep it. But usually it doesn't work. It's just people stay together because they're addicted to stuff they don't even like because they're afraid to change.
So it means that all those vows at weddings are also not true, right? Because you can't commit to a person for the rest of your life because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. How will you feel? Or what is commitment then at all?
I think the only commitment that you can make is the commitment to yourself, but it all comes down to your own knowledge. Where are you heading in life? Like, have you found something within yourself that will matter to you, even at your last breath? Something that lights you up in the morning when you wake up. Have you found that passion for life within you? And have you committed to yourself to share that with the world? Then the requirement for your partner would be somebody who has similar aspirations, right? And then it builds the requirement for you to be together. So if one of the partners stops meeting those requirements, then the game is over. And the thing is that you can't really control if your partner will follow through for the rest of his life. What you can control, though, is your commitment to be love. Your commitment to be conscious of your own programming, of your own defense mechanisms, of your own unpleasant states of being, of your commitment not to blame him for the way you feel. You both commit that you do your best, right? But I think you can say it's for the rest of your life. You can say all you want, but then people get stuck in marriages and relationships that they don't even enjoy, for the rest of their life, because they're afraid to divorce, because what the family will think, what the religion will tell them to do, what the parents will think, all those things, right?
How to divide assets.
All those joints, right? So I think we really need to change the vows, not to each other, but the vow we have with ourselves. Like, I have only one vow to myself, is to always be love, even if others don't see it. Sometimes love means to leave. Really. And I practice that. It works miracles. It helps others evolve, right? You are transparent with them, and you can explain why you are leaving. You say, hey, we agreed on this and this and this. For some reason, I don't feel like this is happening. So I don't feel like playing the game anymore, right? And I'm not saying you've done something wrong. It's just not meeting my standards that we agreed on.
So instead of blaming and asking to change, you just leave, like, without any blaming.
Of course, certain communication has to happen, and explaining, how you feel, if he's open to listen, right? But you don't express it as an attack that something is wrong with him. You express it as, hey, my commitment to myself is to always be love. But when we agreed to be together and build a divine union together, you had that commitment too, which means a constant work on our own selves, which means we never blame each other for the way we feel. And you said that I made you feel that way. I don't want you to be my slave. I don't want to determine your state of being. I want you to be powerful enough to say that it has nothing to do with me, that it's your pattern and your perception of me that's hurting you. Same thing with me. If I ever said that it's your fault for the way I feel, then it was my old programming. I'm conscious of it. I'm working on it. So my commitment is to never blame you for the way I feel, because I know that we both agreed to make it a success, this union, right? I know you're trying your best, but you blaming me for the way you feel is actually not trying your best. It's creating that separation between us and creating the cracks in a vase. And if we have many cracks, then the vase is falling apart. And I don't want the vase, to be held by just a vow that we gave 10, 20 years ago when we had no idea who we are. So I think the most successful relationships are those where both partners are committing to their own self-awareness work and to their own evolution as beings. And, they commit not to blame each other for the way they feel. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be in a relationship like that?
Of course it would. Mm-hmm. And also, coming back to the addiction question, it's always interesting, and I think makes the other partner, not question himself, but question the situation and change his attitude when there is, not a conflict, but some uncomfortable situation, and then instead of you, even if you don't blame out loud, you, instead of reacting to that conflict and expressing some negative feelings or attitude, you do something opposite. And I actually tried also to do that, and instead of feeling bad feelings and making sure that he gets that he did something wrong. And
in your perception, right?
yes, I made a gift.
Beautiful.
Which was totally unexpectable for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that...
but for you as well, it was a new feeling for you probably too.
Yes. It was an experiment that you offered me to try, and it really worked great. Like it changed the atmosphere, and then he made a gift as well. So I think this is very powerful, and that I think also made him see me as a special person who doesn't.
They will never forget you.
That's like other people don't do that usually.
Exactly. So you stood out from the crowd through love, through being love, when he expected you to be angry or, on defense, right? But I want you to pay attention what processes happened in you, right? Because initially you perceived him through the lens of anger and not full acceptance. It's as if something wrong with him, right? And for you, that was the existing pattern. So the response was anger. And now you became aware of your anger that's coming from your perception. And you did something that you've never done in response to that feeling. So in response to your anger, you didn't yell, you didn't text him miserable messages, you didn't call him and said that you are a piece of shit. Instead, what you did, you brought him a gift. So for you, the wiring now, it's a new pattern, right? So the existing pattern, algorithm, you're breaking the algorithm, right? Through a different response to the same frequency, to the same feeling, you provide a different response. And it starts very powerful processes within you. That's the beginning to rewire your brain. Because through providing a different response, now, next time when this emotion comes, you are more aware of it. It's like, wait a second, I felt it before, and I did that before. And it really did some miracles for me. I felt amazing. I didn't dwell in that emotion, because the easiest thing would be to blame him that there is something wrong with him. But then that means you dwell in that emotion, you are almost conserving it within yourself. And next time when he reaches out, you bring up from a bank of memory, what? Anger, right? So through providing a different response, through giving him a gift, it started a process for you which is called rewiring your brain, right? It's the different response is a sign that you are more aware of your own state of being, you are more aware of your own emotions, you are conscious of them, and now you choose how you want to respond. You're not responding unconsciously, compulsively, right? You become in control. That's powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, when you change this reaction, this is also something that creates more addiction to you, because you.
They will never forget you, right? Because they expect you to be angry. They expect you. It's almost like their nervous system is already prepared to fight back with you. And here you give them a gift. They're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
So you're helping them evolve as well, because through changing your own pattern, you are starting that change of a pattern in them, right? Because their expectation was to fight back, and now they are confused. You are out of the norm. You are not normal anymore. You're very special.
Yeah, so the reaction can be both. Can be either
they
become
get scared,
frightened, that she's weird, or they, which also happens. Or
they become more interested in you. They see you as something unique, you know. But also, I find that if they are not ready to be curious, then they are fearful, right? And they start, you know, because their mind can't find the reasoning for the way you are, right? The analytical mind is kind of stressed and doesn't have an explanation. So they are fearful, right? So they can become more distant. And that's what happened in my connection 3 years ago, right? So I started expressing love when he expected me to be angry with him. And I mean, it went to an extreme, like, you know, I did some crazy things, like coming on crutches when I couldn't walk to give him a gift when he didn't even come to my surgery, kind of thing, right? But it's, you know, it's a beautiful feeling within yourself, you know, that you are changing your pattern. First and foremost, I did that for myself because I committed to myself to evolve. I committed to myself to convert that frequency of anger, of upset feelings, of, you know, resistance into full acceptance and love. That was my own commitment to myself. Who cares what he thinks? But then, yes, it starts some processes in him too. It just depends if he is ready to evolve fast and be curious instead of fearful. Then he will ask, wow, like, this is impressive. I've never experienced anybody like you. You know, can you share what's happening in you? That will be curiosity. But a lot of men don't have that courage, and they become fearful, and they place you into a box of a strange woman. But at the same time, they can't let you go completely.
so what would they do? They are afraid of you, but still kind of interested. So they like keep in touch,
They keep in touch. They keep in touch. You know, in my case, it was him saying, "Let's be friends." I said, "I don't see you as a friend, and you know that. What's the point for us to be friends?" And he's like, "Because you are a beautiful soul, and I always keep wonderful people in my life." So he sees the beauty, right? And he has the fear of losing me. But the part that he can't predict me now, he can't understand me now, that created the fear that didn't allow him to be in a relationship with me. Because where there is fear and inability to predict, like he's not able to predict me now.
Control.
Yeah, they can't control, right? What's happening, they can't control, right? So it creates fear in them, and where there is fear, love cannot be. So that's why, you know, he wanted to keep me as a friend, but not as a girlfriend, because frequency of love is a very strong frequency. And if a person is not capable to understand and evolve their logic to the level where they can comprehend it, they will be scared to be in a relationship with a very loving person. Because a person who is love, the person who is in love with her life, is unpredictable. That person has no attachment. That person can take off and leave because they are already happy. If you stop acting according to the requirements, that person can live with love. And I share that with him, and I'm sure that it's not something that he heard from other women.
Because you have to be constantly in shape. And,
yes. It's like you have to constantly be on the path of evolution, and you have to choose to fall in love every day. It has to be not like, you know, you get married at the age of 25 and you commit for the rest of your life to be together. You actually commit to fall in love, to choose to love each other every day. We know what that means? When you actually consciously choose to love another person every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than like, I will love you forever. Because love forever can also mean not being together. Like, I will love this man forever. And we are not together. But my love now doesn't require physical contact. And love actually is always beyond physical.
And how do you see men nowadays? Are they ready for that kind of love, or more men have fear of that kind of love and fear of losing? Are women more connected to that love frequency than men now?
By design, women are supposed to be intuitively tuned in to the frequency of love, because without love, babies don't survive. So that capability to love unconditionally, it's ingrained into our system. The thing is, right now, what's happening in the world, a lot of women are dwelling in their masculine energy and forget that the true love is not in the gifts we receive. It's not in, expensive cars we drive. I mean, it might sound, for some people might not understand it, but love is our pleasant state of being within ourselves, and then we share this with the world. If we tie it in with expensive gifts and, like purses, shoes, all those things, then it's not really love. It's when you are able to extract that from him, then you love him. If you are not, then it's no longer love. Then you're angry that you stopped getting what you wanted, which is actually coming from unevolved mind from childhood. Because a lot of parents have a language of love of buying gifts to their children and working more hours, being in the office and spending time with their children. So they're compensating the fact that they are not really sharing moments and life together with the children that much. They're compensating that through giving gifts. And then kids are being raised in that environment, and now their psyche is reading love through receiving gifts. And a lot of women are in that mindset these days. So I think the trend that I see, I'm not on a dating market. I already found everything I was looking for within myself. But what I see with people that I'm helping, women that I work with and some men as well, is that men have a fear of commitment, commitment to evolve and doing their work, right? And women, they still have that limited understanding of what love is. And some women, amazing women like you, are really open to see a different perspective, and they choose the path of self-awareness and self-evolution. And this is beautiful. You start shift, like how your reality shifts. You start attracting completely different people, right? But through what I see, what they show on TV, Hollywood movies, and it's like, you complete me, right? Which in essence means that you as a human being, you're not whole. Which means you are in a constant struggle of being in search to become whole, right? And it's not then love. It's like you are searching for love outside of yourself, which is a state of being that you have within yourself. So I think this paradigm needs to shift. It needs to change, where you complete me, because we can be a whole version. We can love 100% of who we are. We can embrace all aspects of who we are. We can commit to the process of evolution and self-awareness. And once that happens, miracle will start happening. I think we have a lot of work to do as human species, because there are some changes and shifts are happening on a collective level as a human race, as human species. We are one organism that's working in unity. So I can see where we as a whole, where we as human race, which frequency we are dwelling, and what is the most common perception of what love is. So I can share the trends of where we are, and that's where I've been 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. That's exactly where I've been. So through knowing my mind, my own mind, through doing my own self-awareness work, now I see that people are, they are going through similar stages. And it's like almost me when I talk to people who are struggling with finding love within themselves. I'm very compassionate and patient because it's as if I'm talking to the old version of me, to Mira 4 years ago and 5 years ago, who was looking for love in material things and social recognition in relationship, like finding Mr. Right instead of becoming Mr. Right. I mean, I did inner work, but it was more focused on appearance and body and workout. But love is more than that. Love is way more than that. Going to the gym to work out because you're not fully loving your body, that's not love. That's a constant chase of, the image of how you should look like. And that image keeps changing because your mind plays tricks with you, I think true love is in full acceptance of all cycles in the existence, physical cycles, mental cycles, and spiritual cycles. It's all going in circles. But as a collective, I think we need to redefine what love is.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of men are, as women as well, are searching for unconditional love, the kind of between parent and child. And at the same time, they have all these criteria and conditions how their partner should behave, should look like. So from their side, it's also conditional, but they want to get unconditional love.
But let's look into the love between parents and children these days. Is it really unconditional? If a mother yells at her child just because their child is not as good in school, so that's already conditional love, because if you are yelling at someone, it means anger, it means not love, which means resistance to the fact the way her child is. I think that we need to redefine also the love between parents and kids, and inability of parents to actually see the uniqueness of their child and embrace their uniqueness, individuality. But majority of parents just wants to, raise a better version of who they are, which means, they are even more harsh on their children the way they are harsh with themselves. So many parents, they are sacrificing lives, which means they are not enjoying lives, which means they are not in love with their lives. And if you are not in love with your life, you can't share unconditional love. It's just not possible, because then you will be conditioning your children into something that they are not allowing them to blossom into something unique. So I think it does start from childhood, and the reason we have a mess in the relationship world is because we have a mess in relationships between children and kids.
And parents.
Sorry, yes, kids and parents.
Mm-hmm.
I know parents try their best. I know they try their best, but they were raised by unconscious parents. They were raised by, the parents who didn't have access to information of how to become aware of your response mechanism or defense mechanism of your nervous system, of your mechanics of your brain. So they were raised in that environment, and they didn't have an opportunity to do inner work, right? And now with the access to information, children do have a lot of opportunities. So I think now as children, for example, my commitment is to be unconditional love when I'm with my father. Even if he doesn't understand it, right? My unconditional love that I express to him is actually helping him to get out of the old programming that he's not even enjoying. But it's unconscious. I see the depths or the root cause of the way he is. If he is in a state of being that he's not enjoying, I know it's his limited perception of who he is. And his inability to see where it's coming from. That it's coming from all those years of, many years ago when he was born as a child, inability to see the environment he grew up and analyze how it impacted his responses and defense mechanism, why he is the way he is. So when I started seeing, the root cause of the way he is, I started loving him more. I'm more compassionate with him. I'm more understanding. And that starts a very different process in him as well. So now we're in a best relationship. So I think as children, as who are empowered right now in the age of technology and information, I think ignorance is a choice, really. We have so many capabilities to achieve the peak of our evolution. We have so many opportunities and tools, in this day and age to learn who we are, to become aware, and then embody that love that we have been looking for. Once we embody that love, we will help our parents to heal. So it's almost like a shift happens. Now it's no longer us following the patterns of our parents. It's more about embodying something your parents have been looking for. And then they become your students.
And the same with relationships, romantic relationships. Then when you want your partner to be something, you first do it yourself,
embody it, yes.
And then he will either mirror it back or not.
If he is ready to evolve, he will mirror it back. It's the law. But if he is living in a container, he wouldn't even get the message. But for you, it's already a gain. Like you're already gaining a very valuable thing, which is you starting a process of changing your existing pattern by providing a different response to the same emotion. You are starting a very precious process in you, yourself. And that's what you should do it for. You're not doing it for him. You're doing it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't mirror it back, that means he's not ready to, for that kind of relationship that you want, and then you just leave him with love.
Yeah, and you actually don't need to find an explanation why he's not ready. There is no need to find a reason behind it, because you are clear with your requirements, right? Your commitment is to evolve and grow, so which means you are learning to embody love always, right? So that's your journey. Yeah, and if he doesn't mirror it back, there is nothing wrong with that, right? It's more about showing your progress, right? It's more about feeling your progress from within, which you actually keep with yourself even if you're not together. So that, that's what we all should gain from every relationship in life. We should actually gain a new evolved version of who we are, right? But a lot of people instead feel more suffering version of who they are after breakup, right? In my experience, I chose to use all my relationships to grow. That's why my experience of myself was better and better after breakup. It might not be right away, but I knew it's my perception. I knew it's my inability to let a person go with love, which means with full acceptance of the way he is. And as soon as I learned to do that and I trained that muscle, that actually helped me to even not even seek relationship, because I know that at the end of the day it's just my perception, and I can enjoy that feeling of love even without having a partner next to me, right? So I don't need an external trigger for me to experience love right now. And it was a journey of different relationships to get there. But if we try to change somebody, or he didn't mirror it back, he is not ready, he might not be ready. But at the same time, you never know what's happening in his mind and heart. Because through your own evolution, you help others evolve as well. And sometimes absence is more loving than presence. Sometimes leaving is more loving than staying, especially if we live with love. Especially when we say that you haven't done anything wrong. This is what I am, where I'm heading. This is what I want to experience in life. I didn't feel like you wanted the same. Maybe you said so, but I didn't feel like your actions aligned with what you said. You haven't done anything wrong, maybe it's just me. But life keeps going, and I'm on offer to a new experience, right? Because the only constant thing in life is change.
Yes, beautifully said. Okay, thank you, Mira, for sharing. And please subscribe to this channel and write us topics that you want to talk about. And also, we're going to have an online course on relationships, which will be called The Art of Dating, where Mira will share even more insights on how to build this beautiful relationships where both people evolve in and enjoy them. So subscribe, stay tuned, and see you in the next videos. Bye!
See you all. Much love.